Hello. Welcome back to the channel of Buns. Today is a bit of a weird one. I'm driving a sensible car on a press launch. I'm in the new Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid, and I've got Belgian buns, so it's a pretty good car so far. I've only got a couple of hours with it. I'm not going to be able to do a full video, so I'm going to do a weird vloggy mini review thing. I've got a 2-hour road route. I'll take you along for a drive, and you can imagine you're eating this, which is quite delicious. I'm going to finish this, which is my breakfast, and I'll see you on the road. 6 out of 10 for the bun, 10 out of 10 for the icing, I would say. 7-year warranty. Right, I've had my athlete's breakfast and I'm on the road in the Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid. I should probably give you some facts about it. It is a hybrid. It is an SUV. It has 7 seats. The hybridness is made up of a 180 horsepower 1.6 litre petrol engine and a 90 horsepower electric motor. In total, when they're both working at their optimum, it's 260 horsepower. This one is £53,000, but it's a top spec one with everything. It's got a digital dash with bits that disappear when you come to a stop, and it shows you cameras of the road next to each of your wheels. I think it might help you avoid murdering cyclists, which is quite clever. I've never seen that. There's lots of purple bits on it. It's very insightful, I know, but the entertainment screen, it looks like a Korean nightclub, which I quite like, or how I imagine a Korean nightclub to be. How's it drive? Well, it's a big, heavy hybrid SUV, so yeah, the low speed ride is a bit jarring. I've not gone faster than 40 miles an hour yet, so I'll report back on that. But so far, it feels very posh in here. Kia have really upped their game, as you know, in the past couple of years. It's like a big cliche of modern times, isn't it? How Kia have come from a budget brand to selling 53 grand SUVs. And to be honest, it feels quite nice in here. It's palatial in the back seats. Each of the passenger doors at the back has got a cup holder in the door, which is really quite cool. I've not seen that in a car for years. So yeah, I'm expecting this will be quite good, with the caveat that it's quite expensive. But there we go, 7-year warranty, 100,000 mile warranty, standard stuff. I'm boring myself, so I'll see you in a bit when I've got something more interesting to say. Head-up display, ooh, that goes bright orange when you break the speed limit by 1 mile an hour. Right, let's talk about the hybridness of the Sorento plug-in hybrid. It's kind of got that typical hybrid thing, where you're going along in electric mode with your 35 miles of range, and all is good with the world. You can see bunnies leaping over hedgehogs, there's daffodils blooming, everything is peaceful, and then the engine kicks in, and it's a little bit noisy and a little bit thrashy. And 180 horsepower from a 1.6 petrol, it's quite turbocharged, that, isn't it? So it is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit yin and yang. The kind of serenity is somewhat destroyed by the motor, so I'd rather just have a diesel one, to be honest. I know there are tax reasons to get plug-in hybrid, and if you only do short journeys, then you can basically never fill it up with petrol. And actually, I've been getting 175 mpg driving around town. I've only done 16 miles. I've still got more than half a battery, so obviously the regen is working a bit. But I'm gonna do the usual thing now, where I put it in sport mode, because of course it has a sport mode for a 2-something ton SUV, and just drive it like I'll drive a normal car without trying to preserve the battery, and we'll see how low that MPG gets. Right, that's quite a lot of talking to say I'm going to be a knob. It's got quite a lot of grip, actually. Steering is, you know, does the job. It's numb, it's dull, but it's an SUV. The steering wheel leather is oddly smooth. It feels a little bit plasticky, and you know, Kia has built a 53 grand SUV in this. Everything else, like I said, feels quite upmarket, and I know we always bang on about how Kia is moving up market, but they kind of have to make their cars feel posh now because they're not necessarily that cheap anymore. This is going to compete with Skodas and the Land Rover Discovery Sport, things like that. The Tiguan Allspace, and to be honest, in terms of feel and fit and finish, it's it's a good competitor for them. It feels quirkier and a bit more interesting than any of those German cars. Siri, go away. Doesn't have wireless CarPlay. I'm very much having to use a wire for this route. But yeah, this is quite a likeable car. I think I'd just go for a diesel one though. If you need a big 7-seat SUV, this is definitely big and reasonable value for money, not in this top spec hybrid form at least. Right, so in terms of downsides then, well, there is the slightly thrashy engine and it's a bit boaty to drive, but obviously it's just a family SUV. It drives perfectly well. The low speed comfort is a little bit hit and miss. Hell, but otherwise it's all right. I'm down to 113 mpg, so coming down that hill in sport mode hasn't given me any more battery, it's given me less. Driving like an angry dad. Yeah, it's a car. It's a decent car. It's always fun when you go on a press launch like this because there's a set route which they like you to do and I usually ignore it, but this is a 2-hour one. It's about 65 miles and sometimes they're cheeky. Sometimes you're getting a hybrid and the test route will just be, oh, it's all 40-mile-an-hour limit. So you come back and you've done 3,000 miles per gallon. This one is actually a decent mix. Some national speed limits, some country roads, and an excuse to actually drive normally rather than just potter around behind vegan cyclists. So I appreciate that. Well done, Kia. Weird thing is though, I'm about to drive past my house. I've come to a press launch and I'm just driving past my house in Surrey. So yeah, bit of a busman's holiday this. Good pub here. The Arkle Manor, they do a nice burger. But anyway, you're probably not that interested in the Kia Sorento PHEV, are you? I don't know. How are you doing? Tell me in the comments. We're going to be able to cuddle each other again soon, I think, which is great news. Going to be able to see my mum, show her my new daughter for the first time, even though daughter is about 2 months old already. I think there's lots of grandparents out there who are missing their grandchildren. Not their children, their grandchildren. That's what I'm getting anyway. Right, I'm going to deviate from their route and I'm going to go and find my dogging lay-by, take some photos, and I'll give you a quick whiz around with my proper camera. It'll be very quick and it'll be even shitter than usual. Fair warning. See you in a bit. Right, apologies for the shaky handheld cam footage, but look, I'm at my local vineyard, parked on a hill. Isn't it lovely? This is the kind of Korean nightclub vibe. Look, it's like neon pink. It's really quite cool. This is kind of all Kia's standard stuff, really. It's got Apple CarPlay, but you need to plug it in. It's got built-in sat-nav and everything else. Obviously, you've got these buttons here. It's got a physical volume knob. It's all pretty standard, really. It's quite nice. Oh, hello, music. You've got a sounds of nature button, like every good car should have. Don't know what that actually does. Brilliant. I can pretend I'm in a cafe. What's the next one? Oh, warm fireplace. See, this is why you buy a slightly madcap Korean car. Oh, the crunching of snow. God, we wouldn't have any road rage if everyone bought these. Lively forest. I once knew a girl with a lively forest. Right, calm ocean waves. Right, anyway, there's that, which is mad. The sound system's actually pretty good. It's a Bose system. This, I'm not too sure about. It's a bit plasticky, but the general vibe in here is quite nice. It's got quite nice stitching and piping on the seats. Obviously, this is, again, a 53 grand Kia. You've got heated and cooled seats. You can't have both on at the same time, which is a shame, because that's my favourite game. Wireless charging down there. Don't know if you can see. Let me just increase the exposure. You have to plug in using the middle of the USBs for Apple CarPlay. The other ones are just charging. You've got heated seats in the back. You've got terrain modes for off-roading. If you want to do that, you're not going to want to do that. And then modes for the hybrid system, Eco, Sport and Smart. You can go between EV and hybrid EV. Lots of parking buttons. Hill descent control, heated steering wheel. The actual steering wheel is your usual Kia kind of shenanigans, really. It's all fairly easy to use. And the driver's display is actually quite good. I wonder if it works at a standstill. I'll put my arm in front of the camera. There we go. When you indicate right, it shows you what's behind you in your blind spot using cameras, and same on the left. Isn't that quite cool? So you can tell if there's a cyclist or a small child running past you that you're about to turn into an omelette. So yeah, actually the interior gets a pretty big thumbs up. It's just a bit quirky and a bit different from the likes of Tiguan Allspace and Discovery Sport. Whether it feels as premium, I don't know if it's quite there, but it's not far off. And you've got a mad sunroof. So there we go. That was the vineyard tour of the Kia Sorento PHEV, interior. Bosh. One thing that you don't think about when you're out testing cars is you're trying to relax, have a podcast on, think about the car, and your other half is at home and starts playing Baby Shark on your Spotify, except it comes through the car speakers rather than the one at home. So yeah, this journey might be interrupted by bits of Baby Shark or possibly Lewis Capaldi. Could go either way, neither of which is particularly good. So apologies about that. Bumpy gravel car park. God, it's busy. Should be saying all these people should get a job. It's a weekday, but I think they probably did have a job fighting Hitler many years ago. Right. This is actually England's largest vineyard. It's called Denbies. It's very nice. It's got a nice farm shop. It's got a posh restaurant with a great gin selection, including one that's been into space, I think. I had it. It was very nice. It's very serene, very lovely, apart from all the screaming children that are here at weekends, including mine. The farm shop is quite expensive. I paid £12 for a pie the other day. It was quite nice, but it wasn't £12 nice. Car content. So I did skids in the snow in a BMW 4 Series and my Mini. Last bit of boredom for you. It rides quite nicely at high speeds. I know earlier I complained about the crashy low speed ride. It's not actually that bad, but it smooths out as you go quicker. All in all, really, I'm quite impressed. I've done 52 miles and I've averaged 90 mpg. And it has been a mix of kind of 60 limits, 40 limits, 30 limits. Probably more urban-y 30, 40 than the faster stuff. But I've still got a quarter of a battery left. And bear in mind, this only really has an electric range of 35 miles. And I've done 52. That's not bad. I think I've only used about 10 miles of petrol in all of that. I can't see a complete breakdown of how many miles I did on electric power, but it seems like it was most of them. So yeah, hybrids, they work for some people, not for others. Obviously you can plug this in, charge it at home, and then you get 35 miles of electric motoring each day if you need it. But yeah, pretty good car, to be honest. Kind of want to drive a normal diesel one, as I said, because they just suit cars like this better. Diesel engines, bigger torque here, and obviously big tank range as well. Whereas in this, you're probably looking about 400 miles from the petrol tank and then the 35 miles from the EV. So yeah, it's not going to be the best choice for really long trips, but you know, as a family car, it's a pretty bloody decent thing. One little negative that I forgot to mention is when you give it a boot full, it's like this rev hang. It accelerates for a little bit longer. You lift off the accelerator and it accelerates for like another quarter of a second, which is a bit unnerving. I think it's the electric motor hybridness disengaging, but yeah, I wish that wasn't there. Right, that's my outro really, but let's pretend I'm going to do a proper, more in-depth outro. Let's go to you, Tim, for an outro. So is the Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid any good then? Yes, it's pretty good. Weren't you paying attention? It's roomy. It starts from 45 grand. If you can stomach that. It feels quite premium, feels quite posh. It's obviously got some electric range, 35 miles. If that works for you, then this will work for you. It's a good thing. I quite like it, even with its slightly German looks. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Sorry it's been short. I only had 2 hours with the car, 3 hours, something like that. So it was a bit rushed. Hope that was enjoyable. Catch you later. Hit my bell. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Goodbye. I'm going to go to the loo, then have a pizza. Off you trot.